Whoops, sorry. I forgot. Oh, they do. Sorry, it's bumpy. Gage is going to, where are you going to?
Feed the chickens.
You're gonna feed the chickens. Oh wow, 3 people are here already. Hi everyone. Oh, shoot. Let's see here. All messages are visible. Hey, Salty Dog. All right, come on, Gage. So what questions do you all have? I've only seen some messages from, hi Stephen Kennedy, how are you doing? And I'm probably gonna mispronounce some of his names. Aiden Schwartz, hello. Tony French, hello. Heiko, Texas. Where's that at in Texas? M915A5, Drill Sergeant, how's it going? I only have 6 more days as a drill sergeant, and then I transition or start transitioning to go to my next job. Go ahead and feed him, buddy. Get stop. The skunk's there. That little fella, who you probably can't see right now, has been stealing eggs.
And been killing her.
Yes, he has. We've got a skunk problem, and we haven't been able to address it yet. I did not expect him to be down here.
I think he thought that we were in the
So what everybody do for this Memorial Day? He must live under there. 1 hour southwest of Fort Worth. Okay. I was stationed in Fort Hood before I came here. Go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead and feed him. He already scared him away. He's underneath. Anyways, I was at Fort Hood for a little while, 3 years to be exact, and then came back to Portland Road after that. Grilled and chilled. That's a good answer. We went to the lake for a little bit. We had a good time there. Actually, most of our neighbors, we all went together, kind of as one big family. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna walk back up to the house here shortly, so the shakiness will stop soon. Gage, this guy's pop out, buddy. My MOS, I am actually a 12 hotel, so I'm a construction engineer for the Army. Drill sergeant is just a temporary duty for us. Every MOS has a, I guess a quota, you could say, of what they're supposed to fill as a drill sergeant, and HRC pulls however many they need to from each branch to fill those. So every MOS plays their part in generating the force. The hat ain't doing much good. Mark, this is actually one of my favorite hats, and the thing is I don't know if you can see the emblem here. Let's see here. Oops. So that is the actual Allis Chalmers emblem that I am looking for on a hat. And we found one for Gage, but I wasn't able to get one for an adult side, basically. Gage, feed him, bud. But it's actually still a good hat. It blocks the sun out of your eyes. I mean, the visor still works fine. It's just, you know, there's some holes in the back, that's all. this kind of goes. Other than that, I can kind of tell you what we did, I guess. Feeling. We did have a good time at the lake. Yeah, the times of uncertainty. I'd like to say it's uncertain, but at the end of the day, there's 3 things that people need: food, water, and their family. And in all honesty, you know, if a stock market crashes, it's not going to end the world. People are still going to eat.
Daddy?
Enjoying them. We absolutely love Allis Chalmers. What's the best tractor gauge?
Allis Chalmers.
Allis Chalmers is near and dear to us. They were always good tractors. My grandpa had a WD growing up, and that's actually the first tractor I ever learned to drive. And I was about 6 or 7 years old. I think probably closer to 6. And Grandpa taught us grandchildren how to drive it pretty early in life, and we all really enjoyed that, having that knowledge. And then not only that, but being able to tell people, oh yeah, you know, I drove a tractor. But anyways, that kind of pushed us towards Allis Chalmers, and we really like them. They're good tractors. We haven't had too many issues with ours. I mean, for 40, ours is 41 years old, so at that point, a 40-year-old tractor needing, like, we had to replace a PTO seal on it actually last year. That's a small price to pay for it to continue working and doing good things for us. I see some more people have joined. If you guys comment any questions you have, I'll answer them. You coming, Gage? You're falling behind, bud. We're actually walking back up to the house where Christy's at, and I think Cheyenne. Oop. I can't show you guys that, sorry. That's the surprise coming. You'll see it in videos in the future.
Daddy?
What?
Maybe next time if we go, we could bring a gun just in case the skunk.
Well, yeah, we'll take care of that as we need to, buddy. I did not think you were joking, Dan. I just wasn't sure what you were referencing, is all. Our favorite brand of tractor is 100%, without a doubt, Allis Chalmers. That's the only tractors that we run on our farm. But Dan, on the llama, we have a guard dog, guard dog. His name is George. He actually does a very good job, and he is a very. We thought he was not going to be a very good dog for it, but he actually did a very good job. We have just under 100 head of sheep, and how many feet of water line did it take to do the paddocks, and what kind of pump do you use? So our water line, we actually dug a trench. This is the spigot right here by the house. We dug a trench, or sorry, not dug a trench, but we used the Subsoiler, which is basically a ripper, and it went all the way out there, around, and then back that way to where all of our line went. The total line that we ended up using was right around, I think it was just under 1,500 feet total to do all of our paddocks. But the most recent one that you saw the video on, that was only 750 feet that we had to do. Come over here, guys. I was just showing everybody the sheep. My favorite YouTube channel is probably, there's so many to choose from. I really like Project Farm. Project Farm does a lot of cool stuff, experiments. We have total number of sheep. How many acres do we have? We have 77 acres that we own, and then we also do custom hang usually. We have just under 100 sheep. They're all back there. That's including lambs that we did not sell this year. We have 6 ram lambs left that'll end up going to the butcher shortly. Oh, I think we're all caught up in messages. Yeah, we're all caught up in messages now. The
strawberry.
Oh, your strawberry? Oh, wow, I did.
It's turning red.
It's an experiment in this area.
Yeah, Cheyenne and Chrissy planted some strawberries to see if they were going to survive. Any cows in the future? It's very possible. One being is we experimented last year with some cows from the neighbors. And what we like to do is we like to run the sheep and then, or sorry, run the cattle through and then run the sheep through. Cattle and sheep don't share parasites, so that's one benefit to it. And then the other benefit is sheep and cattle eat different things. Sheep actually like weeds, and they'll eat leaves off of brush and stuff like that. Whereas cattle will primarily eat grass. They won't eat anything else until they're really forced to. So if you don't move them and all they have left is weeds or brush or something like that, they will eat it then, but they really don't want to. Wow, 16 people, getting up there pretty quick. I kind of wasn't sure how well it'd work today because there's a lot of people barbecuing and everything. We would have a lamb barbecue anytime anyone got married or buried. Do you enjoy lamb and mutton? Do you prefer to harvest wool primarily? So our sheep are actually hair sheep. I guess we could walk out there and you guys kind of see them. See, actually, it's pretty wet out there and we have flip-flops on. Maybe we won't walk out there, but we have a couple that still have, like, they have a wool breed mixed in with them. So they're really kind of furry, but majority of them are all hair sheep. And hair sheep, the way it works for them is kind of like a dog. So when the seasons change and it gets warmer out, then they start to shed. That's why you see on this one so much, because I haven't been to this paddock yet. But on all the other paddocks leading up to where they're at now, they like to rub on the fence, and that pulls not pulls their hair out, but it helps them shed and kind of gets that out of their fur.
Helps them get it off quicker.
Yeah, that way they're not as itchy, I guess. Do we enjoy lamb and mutton? Not really. We're really more deer and beef and chicken.
I like lamb out of everyone.
Yeah.
Nobody else really cares for it.
Not bad.
I like beef.
I like beef.
I know you like beef.
We
were talking about. They were asking if you like lamb. Well, actually, you kind of. Or gyros. I never say it right.
I don't know.
It looks similar to a taco in a sense, but then it has the different cheese on it.
Oh. Trying to get back to the
And
question.
It has that creamy
Mark McClendon.
sauce.
We are in South Central Missouri. So we're just south of Fort Leonard Wood. That's probably the easiest thing to kind of tell you where we're at. No, the garden is soaked. Don't be going in there. You sink up to your knees. Mark, your climate is obviously very similar. And as far as we don't harvest any wool from them because they're hair sheep. We kind of, wool is, you'd have to get an awful lot of it to make any money, and by the time all that time and effort you have into shearing them, it's not a lot to gain for your time. You're 30 miles north of Joplin. Okay. We've driven through Joplin several times. When we were heading to Fort Hood, Texas, we'd drive back and forth that way. We'd come back to Illinois to visit my grandparents and Chris's mom and my mom. They all live in southern Illinois. Let's walk to the porch. I'm tired of holding something. I'm gonna prop it up on something. What kind of truck do I have? I drive a 2004 Duramax. It's actually maybe it's actually on the equipment tour video. It's a good truck. Got 200 or almost 300,000 miles on it now, I guess. On some of the comments, make sure I didn't skip nobody. That's all. Tractor, we answered that. Okay, yeah, we're all caught up. Tips to improve on push-ups. The only way to improve is actually to do them. If you have something, so if let's say that you're able to do 10 of them, if you Oh, go to the swing.
Yeah.
If you're able to do 10 push-ups, then the best way to get better at it is to do your 10 and then try to do 15 and 20 and just try to keep going. Biggest threat to our livestock is definitely coyotes.
Or dogs.
Yeah, or stray dogs. The stray dogs we've actually pretty well taken care of. We haven't had too many more of them.
I wouldn't necessarily call them stray dogs. They're more feral dogs.
Yeah. Well,
The puppies were raised. They were bred and then had pups out in the wild, so the puppies were complete feral.
Yeah. But that between coyotes and them, that's definitely the biggest predators. And as far as bobcats, no, not really. We don't have a big bobcat issue. I don't know why. We actually rarely ever see bobcats. We have seen a black bear near our place, about a quarter mile that way, or a half mile, about a half mile that way. Our neighbors actually saw him and sent us pictures of him, but we personally didn't see him on our property or near enough to be considered a predator, I suppose. The coyotes are definitely our bigger threat, though. George does a good job, though, of keeping them away. Hang on a second. I got to catch up on these. All right, so we did the push-ups. Biggest threat to our livestock. We already answered that. How do I know Millennial Farmer? I actually don't know him that well.
Not personally.
Yeah, we reached out to him, and he was wanting to give us a shout out because he liked our background story and everything. And so we really appreciated him doing that. It helped our channel grow. The ultimate goal for our channel is really to help others to learn how to start their own farm. I've said it a few times before, not everybody can be a 5th generation farmer, but anybody can be a 1st generation farmer. Oops. Oh, there we go. Any trouble with pigs? No. We really don't have any issues with pigs. When we lived in Newburgh, Missouri, which is east of Fort Leonard Wood, our neighbor there, he had 800 acres and he had a huge problem with feral hogs. It looked like somebody came through with a disc or with a plow and just turned over his hayfield. It was bad. Any trailers? No, actually, we don't have any trailers. We borrow trailers from our neighbors because they're very nice.
Eventually, we'll get one.
Yeah, we do need to buy a flatbed so that whenever we transport hay, we're not relying on using other people's equipment for that. Phil, thank you for being American worth fighting for. Eric, oops, just close that on me. There we go. When am I going to get out of the Army? I have 6 more years until retirement, and I know my wife is very excited. I'm sure.
Yes. We've been doing this since we were 17. I'm ready to be done.
Yeah, I've been in the Army since I was 17. I don't really want to stay longer than 20 years. What? Brian, thank you for being an American worth fighting for. With the exception of moving stock regularly, how do you combat parasites? Moving stock regularly is by far the best solution and the easiest, really. If you can set up, even if you don't have permanent paddocks, you could set up. We used to have, I can't remember the name of the fencing. We used to have a
10X or
Terex, something like that. We used to have this fencing that was plastic, and almost like construction fencing. And what we do is we put a bunch of portable posts through it, and we used to move it. And Chrissy moved it most of the time, and it was
fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
It's a real pain in the butt to move on your own, though. So that's kind of why we went to permanent paddocks. It's just a lot because the paddocks we made were only good for I think we did 2 days or something like that at a time.
2, maybe 3.
Yeah, we wouldn't do very many days, or a paddock big enough for very many days at a time. But so we calculated everything out and made it to where the paddocks that we've made are good enough for the end. They're good enough for the end result that we're wanting to get to. We're wanting to get to 350 head of breeding stock. But that is by far the easiest way to combat parasites. You could also do If you run cattle in your sheep, that will help because the cattle can eat the parasites that hurt sheep and it won't hurt the cattle. The sheep can eat the parasites that hurt cattle, but it won't hurt the sheep. 17, that's just a couple years ago. Dan, yeah, just a couple years ago.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't. Well, Chrissy and I have been married for 14 years this coming January. I wish I would leave the comments up. That way we don't have to keep touching it. Pfister Farms, he's here. If you all haven't had a chance to check out Pfister Farms, it's Pfister Farms. Go check out his YouTube channel. It's he's a younger kid, about 13 years old, and he does a really good job of kind of explaining what they're doing. I really like how he does that. It's very informative because there's a lot of people that watch our channels, I'm learning, that have no farm background at all, and they really like to have everything explained to them. Where sometimes when I'm talking to the camera, I'm like, boy, I feel like I'm talking to people like they're dumb or something like that. But in reality, when we break it down like that, it's really just to help others that don't know when they haven't been around these things, but they have interest in it and maybe they want to start their own farm. I'm sorry I keep shaking the camera. The key to any good farm is a loving wife and family. You're right.
We love you.
Love you all. Good luck. Thanks, Mark. We really appreciate it. It's been quite the venture. We started this realistically 3 years ago, and we bought a couple of sheep, and we started out with 3 sheep, and they weren't
then
that
like
bad.
3 days later, he came home with how many?
40.
Yeah.
The 3 weren't hard to deal with, so I figured 40.
3 days of dealing with 3 sheep, that's easy.
Yeah, 40 can't be that bad.
43.
But serious note, Mark, I'm glad you love the channel. I'm glad you love what we're doing. I hope everybody is enjoying it. That's not saying we don't enjoy making the videos, but it is a little time consuming. But most of the time I edit the videos on CQ. So it makes it to where I have something to do while I'm there overnight, and it helps me to stay awake because we're not supposed to sleep. Congratulations to Chrissy for your patience and endurance, and congrats to you for outkicking your coverage. Outkicking. Dan, can you explain that a little better? Maybe I misread it. Brandon Ferris, how much do you like Allis Chalmers, and any plans to get more? I love Allis Chalmers tractors. I really do. I truly enjoy them, and I love that. I don't love when something breaks, but I do love whenever something breaks. If I order a part from AGCO, who they actually bought Allis Chalmers out. I love whenever I buy parts from them, and like bearings and stuff like that are made in the United States from them. I absolutely love that. That makes me feel pretty good whenever that arrives. I usually tease my neighbors who have John Deeres because they'll buy a bearing from their dealership and it'll say made in China or somewhere else on it. So it does make me feel pretty good. Married above my pay grade? You're right. In the PC game Farming Simulators 19, I have lots of mods for Farm Sim 19. I actually don't play that game. I don't really play a lot of games. The only game I really ever played was Call of Duty, and when my dad passed away, my dad always bought the Call of Duty for me, and when he passed away when I was in Afghanistan, I didn't continue to buy the games. It's kind of went by the wayside. My nephew was a 9-0 in Lima at Fort Leonard Wood. Eric, when did your nephew go through AIT? Dan Shaden, I'm probably saying it wrong. Shadowin, I didn't quite understand what you meant on congrats to you for outkicking your coverage. Oh, maybe you're talking about the internet. Yeah, the internet is working much better. We didn't have very good signal at the lake.
No.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to live stream. We could barely get on Facebook or
Barely
on
get comments.
Yeah, we barely get on YouTube to put it up saying that, hey, we're having issues and we're not gonna be able to do it. Oh, Sorry, I keep putting my finger over there. You have a bad memory. That's all right. It's hard to remember. Sometimes I have to look at records whenever I, like, people ask when I deployed and I'm like, it was this time or that time. And then I go back and look at my records like, oh, I told them the wrong one. 2 or 3 years ago, I was not at Delta 554 then. I was actually at Alpha 31st. So I was an OSIT drill sergeant before I went over to AIT. Oh, you say Allis Chalmers mod, Brandon. Got it. That's cool. I'm glad that they have those tractors on there. To answer your question a little more, if I could get another one, I would actually really like to buy an 8000 series with front wheel assist. The problem is that we have enough money wrapped up in equipment right now that we don't necessarily need to buy more at the moment. That's why it's giving me a funny look. Fister Farms actually just talked about you not too long ago in the video, probably about 6 or 7 minutes ago. I did have time to check out your channel, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was great that you explained to everybody, kind of break down what the planters are doing, how they work. That's very good knowledge to have, and it's actually really helpful for those that are watching your videos. King Covers means outperformed your expectations. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so outperforming expectations. I'm married over here. You know, we surprise ourselves a lot of times with what we're capable of doing, or what we end up doing when we try to, like when we actually built this lean-to. Oh, I can't show you what I want to show you, but we built this lean-to together.
Try, but it'd probably be awful video.
That's that. So they can't see what's behind it yet.
Oh, I forgot.
What is the maximum number of sheep your farm can handle, and do you have aspirations to reach that amount?
Yes.
Yes, we are going to go to 350 is what we want to keep on hand. So basically how it comes down to is you'll have 7 to 12 sheep per acre of ground. And the 7 is kind of for like really, you don't have very good ground, that you're not growing a lot of forage. The 12 would be you're growing forage really well and it's real thick and luscious. We're gonna
drought resistance.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay at 7 per acre is what we're aiming for. Not because our pastures are bad, as you can see, they're actually real thick and no, I wouldn't say luscious, I guess, but they are very thick and has lots of forage there for the animals. The reason we're gonna stay at 7 though is because droughts, I can't forecast them. Chrissy can't forecast them. The weatherman can't forecast them.
They try.
So at 7 sheep per acre for the 50 acres that we have the paddock set up for, that gives us 350 is the max as far as that goes. In reality, I'm confident that we could run 500 without having an issue. Careful, buddy. But we're going to stay at 350. 350 would give us anywhere from 350 to 700 lambs a year. 350 would be the low side. 700 would be the high side, obviously, if every one of them twinned. So most likely would be probably somewhere around 500. But even so, 500 is a lot of lambs to deal with. Right now, having 100 ewes that give birth to anywhere from about, we had, I think, 112 lambs born. This year, we only had 73. I have to check the numbers. We had 73, I think, ewes that were able to be bred. We actually had one that got bred that was too young, and she had a really hard time passing her lamb, and then it led to another issue. But 350 is where we're going to go to, and that's probably where we're going to stay. 350 will be the amount of ewes. You're welcome, Fister Farms. How's the weather looking in Missouri? Eric, the weather is very wet, and it's actually causing a little havoc on several things. It's causing havoc on our garden that basically drowned.
We have to redo it.
And it's also causing us to fall behind on something that you guys will find out about in a few videos. It is warm though now, so I can't complain about that part at least. Oh, battery's getting low. This will be a good year for hay. It would be, Mark, if the sun starts shining more. Because right now our hayfield, the undergrowth is not looking that great. The fescue is shot up well, but the undergrowth is really hurting us. It's not very thick at all.
Neighbors that are considering that.
Every sheep farmer I have known has recruited other ground to graze from folks who wanted the benefit of having sheep graze their pastures. Just a thought. We actually have some neighbors. We're a really small farm compared to them. We have a neighbor right here. They have, well, he has 200 acres there, and then he rents another 300 acres, and then his family has a few hundred acres. So they're in the 1,000-acre range, roughly. We have some other good friends that we went camping with actually this weekend. Actually, we went camping with all of them, but we have some other neighbors we went camping with that they have a couple hundred acres, and then Kevin, who helped us get our farm going and didn't let us fail the first year, he has a couple hundred acres. So we're actually a very small farm, but we want to talk to them about doing something like that. But the problem is
Fencing.
Yeah, their fencing is not like ours. They have barbed wire because barbed wire easily works for cattle. Barbed wire does not work for sheep because they like to wander. And the problem isn't so much them wandering. The bigger problem is actually the coyotes that will come through that barbed wire fence and they will get our sheep. They won't mess with the cattle too much unless the one's weak.
Or there's a newborn baby.
Yeah. Do you supplement paddocks in any way? We do not. The paddocks, pretty much what's there is what they get. Sheep eat weeds first, which is, this is going to sound dumb, but I'm actually very happy they do. Weeds have a higher protein and nutritional value than grass does. So that is really wonderful that they want to eat that. The second thing is that kind of helps the grass to get a better stand and to choke the weeds out. We're not spraying. We don't spray anything as far as trying to get the weeds to go away either. We spray our fence lines because we don't want any forage in the fence lines because it will cause it to rust and it'll cause more issues with our fence sooner. And Mark, I didn't see the other. Oh, give it time. I hope you're right, Mark, because I'm wanting to cut our first cutting hopefully in the next 2 weeks. But I got to take the slip clutch apart on the disc mower because it's shimmying and causing all kinds of havoc.
I better go check on them.
That's probably a good idea. Pfister Farms, we have a beef farm. We have to have four barbed wire. Yeah. Most of our neighbors run 4-strand. Some of them run 5. Do I ever go fishing, Brian? Absolutely. We actually went fishing not too long ago in our pond. We caught some small bass. You caught, no. Cheyenne caught one. No, you both caught one, didn't you? You didn't catch one?
I was
he
close.
snagged one and then
That's right. Yeah, Gage actually pulled the hook right out of the fish's mouth. Unhappy puppies, yeah, they are a little unhappy.
They got a little into their playing.
I guess you guys will see soon enough. We had a pretty rough day about 3 weeks ago. So all the videos you guys are seeing are roughly about a month behind. Ever going to start baling? Brandon, yeah, we will start hay.
About 2 weeks?
Yeah, roughly about 2 more weeks. We will do our first cutting is what we're aiming for. Weather might dictate whether or not we start later than that, though. If the sun doesn't start coming out and shining more, it's going to be a little later. Can I do a fishing vlog one day? We probably could. I'm not that good of a fisherman.
Yeah, just do it to relax and hang out.
I mean, we're kind of cheating because we do it in a pond we never stocked it, but it was stocked years back by previous owners that we bought that property from. Oh, actually, the owner before that. Mm-hmm. So it's still kind of cheating, though, because there's nowhere for the fish to go hide. Well, the algae's kind of cleaned up now.
Oh, it is?
A little bit. Everyone start bailing. New fishing vlog. We already saw those. Make sure I didn't skip nobody here. Opposite weather from here. Says, Eric, you're probably right. I'm sure it's hot and dry.
It depends if it's Pryor, Texas.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't miss Texas that much. I like 4 seasons. I like snow and playing in it to an extent. Mark McClendon, this kind of year, if you can get the field cleaned off, there is enough moisture to let the clover grow. Yes, there is. The downside to clover. So, like I said before, we do custom baling as well. This year we won't because we have too many things going on and I'm actually not going to be able to do it. But the custom baling we do, last year we had, I mean, good horse quality hay, like beautiful hay. The field actually made 8 bales an acre. Just good, gorgeous, thick, luscious hay. It was awesome. Had mostly red Timothy, Timothy, red top, clover, and fescue in it. And it was just really good hay. We fed it to our sheep and they didn't really care for it that much because they don't like, stemmy, forage is not really something that they enjoy. They prefer leafy stuff. So like alfalfa would be good, but legumes wise, alfalfa is kind of rough for them. It'll give them bloat if you give them too much. Help us. Hello, help us. I'd be kind of curious to see where everybody's from though. If you guys want to mention that. Just bought 11 acres to move on to and have 3 different types of fencing around it.
Ooh, that's interesting. Which one are you going to stick with?
I'd say, yeah, Tony, which one are you going to keep? Are you going to transform them all to the same kind, or are you going to have 3 different species to put inside the fence? Or are you going to test the fence and see which one holds the animals that you're wanting better? This kind of year, fishing long. Sorry, I'm going back through the comments. Just want to make sure I didn't skip nobody. Oh, Robert Baker, I missed you. I'm sorry. Robert, hello. Northeast Ohio. Is it still cold there? And thank you for being an American worth fighting for, too. I really wish it would leave the comments up.
This one stop. Ooh,
what are you doing?
I don't know. I zoomed in. Sorry. Oh.
Forge, I did that.
Oh, you did that.
Yep.
Sorry. I thought we missed it.
Salty Dog, North Central Ohio. Okay. Is it cold there?
Salty what?
Salty Dog. That's their screen name, I guess.
Yeah.
Shine, why don't you scoot in closer? Make it easier. Oh, sorry, Gage.
Well, he was on my leg, but it was falling asleep. I had to move him.
We only have probably about 10 minutes left of battery life. I should have checked my phone, but I kind of forgot.
What do you guys think of Gage's new haircut?
He's going with the sleek look.
We had a whoops.
Yeah, it happens. It'll grow back though. That's the good news. I want to show him. Wow, 86 today, Salty Dog. Wow.
Nice.
That's warmer than it was here, I think. Joe Magnuson, hello from Tucker, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. Hello. I've never stayed in Georgia for longer than a day. Or no, we haven't stayed a day in there. Drove straight through.
Going to Florida? And
no, going to...
Oh, I'm talking about me.
Oh, so we drove through going to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Hello from Eastern North Dakota. I really love North Dakota and South Dakota were really beautiful states. So is Wyoming and Montana. I can't believe how gorgeous those places were.
Okay, can you read that one?
Oh. Mm-hmm. So Alex, I liked your state, and you guys had very nice rest stops too. Dan Shadowin said, "Gage, you look good." You see it?
Thank you,
Brandon Ferris. It looks. Oh man, I wish the comments would stay up. I don't know why they don't. Brandon Ferris said you look good too, and Salty Dog, and Mark McClendon. Dan said you can comb it with a washcloth now.
Makes it easy.
Nick Marsh from upstate New York. Okay, we actually have a friend that's from upstate New York. Well, he don't live there now. He's a federal police officer, but so he moves around a little bit. But all the pictures that we'd seen of stuff that he was doing up there was really pretty. How did we meet?
Hmm.
Dan, we went to the high school. Our high school was really small. So Bond County was the high school that we went to. And we had just under 500 kids total for the whole high school.
That included 4 different towns.
Yeah, 4 different towns. Basically, it was a high school for the whole county. And anyways, we knew of each other, but we had a common friend. And I was actually going to tell the common friend that we had when she was at Chrissy's house. Which
My family and I were just getting ready to move into a new house, which happened to be half a block away from where he lived.
Yep. So it was really right around the street, or right around the corner from where my parents' house was. And I helped them move some stuff, and we kind of hit it off, and
The rest is history.
yeah, about 6 months later, we got married.
Yep.
And then we went across the stole her, and we went across the country. Tony French. Oh, oops. All right. So Tony French, thank you, sir, for your service to our country. Thank you for being an American worth fighting for, and thank you. I'm glad you acknowledged my family too, because they give up a lot for us to be away as much as we are. Joe Magnuson was raised on Deverside Farm in northern Alabama. Alabama's a pretty place. We drove through it too. We actually have some friends that live in just outside of Huntsville, Alabama. Or no, maybe they live in Huntsville.
Huntsville.
Hey, where is that people thing going down? It used to be at 21.
It goes up and down as people come on. So like now 2 people left. Some more people will come in though. So Nick Marsh, beautiful state, but you pay for it. I can't remember which state for up New York. You know, Nick, you actually bring that up. We're actually from Illinois originally, from Southern Illinois. We won't return because the cost of living there is really high and the taxes are incredibly high. So we're going to retire here in Missouri, where the taxes are very reasonable and the cost of living is too. Salty Dog, thanks to all my brothers who sacrificed so we could have this chat. Amen. Today is really about them and the Gold Star families. There's several service members who went on deployment. They paid the ultimate sacrifice and they never got to come back home to their families. And there's a lot of people that just doesn't understand that Memorial Day friends, in combat, and we just want them. We want them to have the acknowledgement that they deserve. Fister Farms said you look good, Gage. Story is that Chrissy is a sucker for a man carrying furniture. She is.
And for one who will go out of his way to help someone he don't even know.
I do that a lot. It's I don't know. I guess I feel the need to help people sometimes. There's a cat for sale if anybody wants it.
No, my cat. Forever.
We already read that one. Mark McClellan, I graduated in top 10 of my class, but sad to say there were only 18 of my class of 79.
Okay.
One was an exchange student. There was 126 in my graduating class, and I don't even remember where I placed, honestly. I've never even thought about that. I'll have to look. My grandfather, Fister Farms, I think you're missing part of your comment. Your grandfather died in service, so I never got to see him. I'm sorry to hear that. That's that is tough. It's no matter what you say or whatever anybody says, it's never going to make it any better. But I really appreciate what your grandfather did. Let's see where battery's at. I got about 5 minutes of battery remaining, so if you have questions, it's a good time to ask them. I'm not gonna plug it in, honey, because I'd have to go get the extension cord and stuff. I will show everybody that sunset though. We always have beautiful sunsets. I've never had one to complain about, unless it's blocked by clouds. just to give you guys some ideas of what's coming up, though, in the next several videos, fencing will finally be done. On the videos, I know it shows, it looks to you guys like it only took us a few days. It took us almost a month.
Yep.
And
We weren't doing it every day, though.
no, we're not doing it every day, and sometimes we're only doing it for a couple hours out of a day. But we are very happy to. Sorry, hold this. We are very happy to be done with that. But there's that videos coming up. The garden videos are coming up. Our neighbors have a skid steer that is in the creek, and we go help them get it out. I can't remember what else there is.
Don't give it all away.
There's some precludes of what's going on behind our current barn, and they saw the water lines already.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a couple about tearing the disc mower apart because I got to figure out why. I think I have a bearing that's bad in the slip clutch because it's got a really bad shimmy. And my grandfather flew a B-24 bomber and then died of cancer in 1985. Man, that's it's amazing. You know, they really are the greatest generation. That is, I couldn't imagine the war that they were in. I really couldn't. You know, same thing for Vietnam veterans. I guess everybody has a preference of their war. But from the outside looking in, I would rather fight the war that I fought than the ones that they have fought. I feel like it would be not safer, I guess, but I feel like the odds were more in our favor because we had a lot of technology advances.
Yeah.
The saddest thing I ever hear, Salty Dog, just a side note, the saddest thing I ever hear is taps. You're right. That is a very, very touching.
Okay, every time.
It really does. Tears you up. Dan, thank you both and your family for providing the entertainment content and marriage counseling fencing technique. Hope to meet you all someday. Good night, Dan. I'm glad you all enjoy it.
Stay tuned. There may be more marriage counseling coming up.
There will be marriage counseling coming up, and it'll be a different type. It's not even going to be fencing kind. We'll explain. I can't tell you what it is. You'll have to guess. There's a video coming up that you're going to have to guess in, so that's why I can't tell you. But Brandon, yeah, you know, I would have loved to meet your grandfather. I would love to meet a World War II veteran. I've only met one in my life, and I had an absolute wonderful time talking to him. Pfister Farms, we've been fencing today since 4:30 a.m. and we just quit half an hour ago. I had a better day than you, Pfister Farms.
Yes.
I didn't have to do any fencing today. Mark McLennan, our Father gives us great blessings. Just take the time to enjoy and give thanks. You are 100% right. Good night, Mark. Have a blessed night. But on that note, folks, we are going to end it because my phone is about to die. So, and I don't want to just cut out on you guys. We are looking forward to more adventures ahead. We will do another live stream. We don't know when yet, probably in a couple weeks. The thing is there's just not a lot for us to talk about on the live streams currently because we haven't seen the videos yet. But coming soon, you'll have a lot more to talk about. But other than that, I really hope you all enjoyed it. And if you want another one, please comment down below on when you want to do it. Other than that, have a great... Oh, and if you guys are interested, we do have shirts for sale now. The link is actually in the description of our videos. Yeah, these ones are ones Chrissy made, but we just can't keep up with the volume that you guys would need. So Farm Focused, who's the same group that takes care of Freedom Farm, or Freedom Farms, Millennial Farmer apparel, they do ours as well. The only difference is that they're not going to put ours on anything other than Made in USA shirts and hats and stuff. So there's not sweatshirts available yet because they don't have a vendor for them yet, and there's not hats available yet, but there will be hopefully in the future. But a weekend, and I hope you all really understood what it meant. And other than that, we'll see you guys on the next video.
It's been 51 minutes.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.